The 543rd edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100 times your entry in NBA, MLB, NHL, golf, and more. Sign up today using promo code MMA SGPN to get a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by the premier arbitrage sports betting tool, AVO. Use their tool to bet both sides and lock in a profit. Access their platform for free at arbsversusodds.com. That's ARBS versus odds.com. And finally, we're brought to you by the Golf Gambling Podcast. In honors of Masters Week, the Golf Gambling Podcast guys are giving away a free tailor-made Spider X putter. Enter today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/masters.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 543 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Part 2 of the big UFC 300 blowout we're doing here. I probably should have dedicated part 1 to this man, but part 2 is going out to Jim Miller. He deserves a dedication for appearing on this card, UFC 200, UFC 100, and a million other MMA cards over the years. And for all intents and purposes, being especially in the MMA sphere, being a pretty solid stand-up dude. So this goes out to you, Mr. Jim Miller, even if you talk to Gumby this week and they may not pretend to success this weekend. Thanks for coming to the show. If you're watching YouTube, the man smiling beside me is Daniel Gumby Vreeland, and he and I, Mr. Jeff Chalks Fox, are going to break down the top 5 fights on this Saturday's UFC 300, aka the pay-per-view portion if you live in North America, where they make you pay for it. Stack card, but we did the 8 prelims yesterday, and hopefully you've watched and or listened to that episode already. We did disagree on quite a few as we were coming down the stretch there. So you got both sides of the fight debated to you. So you can pick whose side you're going on, mom or dad. Who do you want to live with, mom or dad? That's what we're telling you. We'll see how this main card goes. Do you think we're going to disagree on any fights in this card, Mr. Vreeland?
I think one.
At least one? Okay.
I have exactly one. I know one fight that I think you're going to pick differently than me.
I'm not going to pick Cody Brundage, and you are? Is that it? High IQ, Cody Brundage?
No. Well, the problem is I keep looking at the UFC.com site, and I've looked many times, and it won't tell me if it's high IQ or low IQ.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the Discord. How do we know? Can they measure his brain beforehand?
Tell me which one's showing up, and I'll tell you which one I'm betting. Because high IQ Cody Brundage, at the number he's looking at, all right. Low IQ Cody Brundage, I'm not interested.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. That's the first fight we are going to break down for UFC 300, of course. This is, as I said, the pay-per-view portion. It is pretty stacked. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 former champions mixed amongst the 5 cards on this here fight card, and Cody Brundage is also in one of the fights. So, and we also have a big BMF title bout, which is the most exciting thing. Well, I guess I should count that as a title as well, right? So we have 6 champions.
You should not.
It's the symbolic BMF title they keep calling it, or something like that, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Gumby is a big fan of that, as am I. One thing we are a big fan of, as I transition into a read quickly, it's Masters Week for all you golf fans out there. And in honor of Masters Week, the Golf Gambling Podcast guys are giving away a tailor-made Spider X putter. I think that's a good thing. I'm not a golfer myself. Enter for free, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/masters. And it doesn't even matter if you're a golf guy. If you're a degenerate, you will, I'm sure, be interested in Masters this week, because people watching and listening to this like to gamble, apparently. And you're going to gamble on the Masters, I'm sure, too. All right. Let's kick things off with the most exciting fight of the night. The fight that would headline a fight night card because it's middleweight. It would be Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage at 185. Tell you about Brundage first. No nickname, but it's either fill in the blank IQ, either low or high. It depends. 10-5. Fill in the blank IQ would be a good nickname, actually. Brundage is 10-5, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once, 4-4 in the UFC. He's won 2 straight fights. Before that, he won 3 straight. So he kind of saved his UFC career to see himself on UFC 300. So it was worth it. Won his last fight via knockout 0-1 in Contender Series. Used to fight at light heavyweight. He's been outstruck in the UFC and the Contender Series by 0.71 strikes per minute. Plus 1,200 is the line you get for Mr. Brundage. Bo Nickal, 5-0, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. So he's finished everyone. He owes his rounds. 2-0 in the UFC. Wrestling world champion before this. Inch height, 4 inches of reach. 2 years younger than Brundage. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his UFC opponents by 2.21 strikes per minute. He 2 fights in the Contender Series too, right?
Yeah, they made him fight twice. First week and last
2 on
week.
Contender Series, yes. Right. Sometimes I get him and Pfeiffer mixed up, but yes, he was the one that they made fight twice. Pfeiffer was the one that Dana White gave a house to. Nickal minus 2,000, and Pfeiffer's one with a mythical girlfriend. All right. Do we really have to break this one down, Nickal? Because as Gumby said wisely on a past episode, high IQ Cody Brundage is the Cody Brundage that plays right into Bo Nickal's strength. So even high IQ Cody Brundage will not win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, if you're out there and you're trying to figure out, can I find a path to victory for Cody Brundage? You know, like, because let's be honest, you got some pizza money here. You're not putting, your $24 extra large pizza money on.
That's how much pizzas cost there.
Yeah, if you're getting an extra
pizzas.
large, getting some nice like toppings, yeah. And that's American too, so that's like $40 Canadian.
Yeah, it is.
So like if you have some money for that and you want to throw down, you're not betting in on Cody or to Bo Nickal's money line and getting 10 cents back, right? Like that's what you'd get. Instead, you're looking for a fun way to play this, and like I said, you got some throwaway money. Cody Brundage could knock him out. Right? Like, we have no idea what Bo Nickal's chin looks like. He's shown in the past that he's willing to fight a fight to show off what he's got, right? He's fought a fight completely standing. He's fought a fight only shooting takedowns. He's tried to show us everything that he's got. So, like, he might go into this fight with Cody Brundage and be like, it's UFC 300. I have to show them that I can knock this dude out. And sure, Cody Brundage can knock him out. So if you're going to bet Cody Brundage, don't bet him on the money line at plus 1,200 because he's not going to win a decision. He's not going to submit Bo Nickal. Like for anybody who's like, oh, he could jump guillotine and we don't know what Bo Nickal's sub defenses looks like. Look, I've seen Bo Nickal in grappling competitions. He's exceptional at jiu-jitsu. Like he
knows what he's doing. Yeah.
His jiu-jitsu and his wrestling are not on the same level, but they are both world class. Like he's very good on the mat. So if you want to bet Cody Brundage, bet his KO line. You're going to get it at like plus 3,000 instead, or, get his first round KO prop at plus 5,500. Like if you want to throw in on him, do something crazy like that. Don't take his money line. And I would just say this, I'm still on Bo Nickal. If I got $100, I've got $100 that I got to bet on this fight, and I don't want to lose my $100, I bet Bo Nickal.
Yeah. Some people like to lose money, but we don't. So yeah, Nickal is the pick here, but yeah, Gumby laid out the plan. Yeah, Brundage is not going to wrestle and grind out a decision victory over Bo Nickal.
Also, just a reminder, he's lost grappling like heavy matches to both Nick Maximoff and Cedric Dumas.
There you go. Florida man himself. All right. Where are we moving to now? We are now nothing but bangers the rest of the way through. All right. That fight was just a little appetizer. And now we're getting into the real meat of the matter. 3 5-minute rounds at lightweight. Charles Oliveira, Brazil. Armen Tsarukyan from Armenia. Shout out to Ryan H. He's got one of his boys fighting here. All right, 3 5-minute rounds, 155 pounds. Oliveira, Do Bronx, 34-9 with 1 no contest, 10 knockouts, 21 submissions. Man is a finisher, if nothing else. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted 4 times. He owes his rounds. Very much so here, Gumby. He really owes his rounds. 22-9 with 1 no contest in the UFC. Used to be the champion of the world. 12-1 over his last 13. Won his last fight via TKO. Has missed weight before at 155. Missed weight 4 times at 145. So you shouldn't have to worry about that now that he's a lightweight, but he has missed weight at lightweight. So keep that in mind. He's fight at, as I said, 145 and 170. Was regional champion, multiple BJJ champion. 3 inches height, 2 inches reach over Tsarukyan. He has outstruck his UFC opponents by 0.35 strikes per minute, plus 190. I was kind of surprised by the size of this line. Tsarukyan, nickname? Say it, Gumby.
Oh, it's like Ekal Hayats.
Ekal, yes, there you go. If you say so. He's 21-3, Mr. Tsarukyan. 9 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out 1 time, so he owes us some finishes. 8-2 in the UFC. He's won 3 straight and 8 of 9. 2 straight wins have come via TKO or knockout. He's missed weight before as well. Regional champion, used to fight at featherweight. 7 years younger than Oliveira. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes, and he has outstruck his UFC opponents by almost 2 strikes min. He's at plus 1.94, minus 200. Gumby, were you surprised by this line, the size of it?
I was. If you lump it in with like the Benil, or not the Benil Dariush, the Benoit Saint Denis and Dustin Poirier line, as well as the Jack Della Maddalena versus Gilbert Melendez line, it sort of makes sense. The books seem to be trending towards liking the young up and comer to like unseat the Weili veteran. I don't really love the line here, but I am going to go with Armen Tsarukyan, largely because if you look at the type of people who have ever given him trouble, it's always exceptional wrestlers. Have given him trouble, right? Like he's fought a slew of jiu-jitsu guys, right? He fought Benil Dariush, he fought Dami Hamos, he fought, you could even say like Christos Iagos is like a really good jiu-jitsu guy. He fought a lot of dudes who are good at jiu-jitsu. And if they don't come in with above average, damn good wrestling, he sort of just shucks him away and his kickboxing takes over. And for that matter, his own wrestling is good. Watch his scrambles with Islam Makhachev. That was on short notice at 21 years old. He's only gotten better since then. And the only people he's ever had problems with are Islam Makhachev and Matthews Gamrot. 2 guys who are probably the 2 best pure wrestlers at lightweight. And I don't think Charles Oliveira has the takedown game for that. I think this is a fight where Charles Oliveira is going to be wanting for that takedown most of this fight and going to be coming up empty. I think Oliveira's best bet to win this fight is probably to try to tag Tsarukyan on the feet. And I just don't see that happening. Nobody's done it so far. And granted, yeah, maybe he hasn't fought anybody who boxes as well as Oliveira, but like I can't hang my hat on an Oliveira win on the basis that I think he could hang boxing wise, like that's just not who he is. So I'm going to go Tsarukyan here. Again, the line's probably a little too wide for my taste. That's where I'm going anyway.
Yeah. Most people must agree because the line is not really budging. It's wide for a reason. It's not just the books think Tsarukyan is going to win here. So yeah, I'm taking Tsarukyan, excuse me, as well.
I thought you were going Charlie Olives. This is the one I thought we were differing on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we won't differ in any. No, I'll take Tsarukyan. Much younger and is, been finishing, cracking like TKOing or knocking out people over his last couple of fights. So I think as Gumby said, I think his grappling and wrestling is top notch. Maybe not quite on Oliveira's level, at least not in terms of the finishing submission ability, but he's definitely top notch grappler. Will not be easy for Oliveira to best him there. And then I think I like Tsarukyan's power. I like his power definitely better on the feet than Oliveira. And I like the fact that he's much younger and has a lot less miles on his tire and on his brain and than the former champ does. So Tsarukyan it is, but I won't be. In real life, this minus 200, I would not be laying any serious money down on Tsarukyan.
Yeah, agreed on all that.
One place I will lay down money is Underdog Fantasy, though, because Gumby and I know what we're talking about when it comes to Underdog Fantasy because we've been writing articles about it all season long for NBA. I guess we were doing MLB before that too, weren't we?
I'm currently still doing MLB.
Oh, you're doing both. There you go.
For
all right,
on SGPN as well. So check those out.
sportsgamblingpodcast.com. In case you don't know what Underdog Fantasy is, it's the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. You pick fighters or athletes, players in whatever sport you're making a play on. Pick between 2 and 5 of them. Pick whether you're going to go higher or lower on the stat category you're zeroing in on, and you can win 100 times your money if you know what you're doing. So that sounds good, and why would it not sound good? Sign up today with promo code MMASGPN. That's the important thing. Make sure you use Gumby and my promo code so we look good for the bosses and they know people are engaging with our content. There, how's that for some buzzwords there? Get your first deposit, double it up to $100 as well as an instant pick'em special. Visit underdogfantasy.com or find them in the App Store, and don't forget to register with our promo code MMASGPN to get your first deposit, double it up to $100 as well as an instant pick'em special. Must be 18 or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right. More bangers coming your way. This would be the biggest fight of the night, the BMF title, the illustrious BMF, UFC BMF in quotation marks title. Justin Gaethje, I guess he's the current champion. He's a defending champion according to Topology versus Max Holloway. 5 minute rounds. Oh, it's 5 rounds too. which is great.
That is probably great for this fight, to me.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yep, it's true. I didn't think it was going to be 5 rounds, but according
it's
to
a
Tapology,
BMF
it is.
title.
Is that true?
Don't you know anything about the BMF title?
Yeah,
don't you know about its long legacy? Don't you know about the important? I heard was it Max Holloway who suggested that Mark Coleman should put it on the winner this time because he's a real BMF.
Exactly, it's true.
Respect.
More than The Rock, but I'm sure Endeavor probably has other ideas. But anyhow, let's break her down, shall we? Doesn't matter what, if it's for a title or not. This is a banger of a fight. Let's just forget about this silly BMF stuff. Max Holloway, aka Blessed, 25-7, 11 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted 1 time. The man is durable. 21-7 in the UFC. Used to be the longtime featherweight champion. He's won 2 straight and 4 of 5. Got won his last fight via knockout. Was regional champion. 2010 pro MMA debut. He has fought at lightweight before, but mostly he's a featherweight. 3 years younger than Gaethje, better grappling stats than Gaethje, and he's outstruck his UFC opponents by 2.42 strikes per minute, plus 150. Justin Gaethje, the highlight, 25-4, 20 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out twice, submitted twice. 8-4 in the UFC. He's won 2 straight fights and 3 of 4. Won his last fight via knockout. 10-0 World Series of Fighting and the champion there. 2011 pro MMA debut, All-American wrestler, but you never would guess it if you watch him fight. An inch of reach over Holloway, more active landing strikes than Holloway, and he's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.15 strikes per minute, minus 160. Give me Gaethje here. We've seen Holloway at lightweight before. Did not go particularly well. I don't see it going particularly well here either. Gaethje's just too big, too powerful, hits too hard. I know Holloway is durable, but eventually someday he will not be durable, and it'll just probably happen like that, just like that too. You won't see it coming perhaps, but I like Gaethje better here. I like the way he's been fighting recently too. He's the man is had his title fight and lost that, but he's been on a roll ever since. So, but mostly it's the move up in weight that I'm most concerned about, and the wear and tear on Holloway. So give me Gaethje.
I'm not worried about Holloway's chin at all, but I am worried about what that fight looked like with Dustin Poirier, because this to me is an even worse matchup for him. Because when you watch the fight with Dustin Poirier, the problem was not that Max Holloway couldn't hang with his speed. It wasn't that Max Holloway couldn't hang with his volume. It's not that Max Holloway couldn't hang with his durability or, his pressure or his footwork. He can hang with all of those things. But at the end of the day, the judges have to watch the round and say, that guy landed 50 punches. This guy landed 48 punches. And those 48 were hitting the 50 way harder. And I'm not talking about a little bit harder. I'm talking about way harder. And to your point, Max Holloway is held up all along. I'm not personally worried that this is the fight where he doesn't hold up, but I don't think that his punches register better than Justin Gaethje's do. And it's not like Justin Gaethje is a guy who we're constantly questioning his chin either. The dude's got a great chin. The dude used to go into war and just brawl with people and still didn't get knocked out. And now he's safer and more technical. To your point that you said about him getting better at what he does, he is now fighting safer. He is now fighting a better style of fight, because I think he knows that second title fight is right around the corner and he can't lose that one twice. He needs to win that one and be the best version of himself in that one. So he's not having fun anymore. He's fighting the way he's supposed to. And I think that plays even better here against Max Holloway, because the punches he's going to land are still going to be bigger. They're still going to be more memorable, and he's going to steal at least 3 out of the 5 rounds that way. So yeah, give me Gaethje here.
Yeah, really, what is the path to victory for Holloway if someone wanted to play that?
Volume. I think volume.
I guess
is the clear one. You have to go in there hoping Max Holloway is going to put such incredible pressure on Gaethje that he won't be able to fire back. But also, what kind of hope do you have in the world that Justin Gaethje can't match the wildness and pressure that you have? Like, that's what Max Holloway's potential advantage is. And that window is real tiny when you're fighting a guy like Justin Gaethje, because he matches everybody else's.
Yep, it's true. Yeah, a lot of times if you're stuck on picking a winner of a fight, you try to picture how the fight would play out, or a bit more importantly, how a certain fighter would actually win a fight. Yeah, the margins are very, very thin for Max Holloway winning this fight. As Gumby said, I don't see his punches doing causing any concern for. It may cause some damage, but won't cause any concern for Justin Gaethje. It won't stop him from coming forward or anything like that. So there we go. On the same page there. We're going. Wonder if we're going to differ on any of these two. Maybe we're going to do a clean sweep here. Let's go to the first real title fight, UFC Strawweight Championship. Zhang Weili, the champion from China, versus Yan Xiaonan, the champion from China. You want to say her name, Gumby? You love saying her name.
Yan Xiaonan.
Oh, perfect. 5-minute rounds, 115 pounds. Of course, the UFC isn't putting this fight on in China, because why would they do that, right? That wouldn't make any sense at all. All right, Fury and 9 are the nicknames for Yan. Why is she 9, Gumby? Do you know anything about that?
No? I think it's an anime thing, I want to say, or like a... Probably. Yeah, I want to say it's an anime thing.
Nerds. Anyhow, I wouldn't call her a nerd, because even though I'm twice her size, she would beat me up, I'm sure, quite easily. All right, Yan, 17-3 with 1 no contest, 8 knockouts to her credit. She's been knocked out once, submitted once, so she's a durable fighter. 8-2 in the UFC. She's won 2 straight fights. Before that, she lost 2 straight. Definitely got her career on track just in time for UFC 300, just like Brundage. Won her last fight via knockout. Used to fight at flyweight. 2008 pro MMA debut. An inch of height over Zhang. Has outstruck her opponents by almost 2 strikes a minute, plus 1.99. So good number there. Plus 375. A good number if you want to bet her. Magnum is the nickname for Zhang. Jean. What is the record? 24-3. 11 knockouts, 8 submissions. She's been knocked out once. 8-2 in the UFC. Been the champion 2 times over, including now. She's a champion now. 3 straight wins. Before that, she lost 2 straight. Has not lost a fight since November 2021. She has welterweight championships on her
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Get sticky with us. Used to fight at flyweight. 2013 pro MMA debut. 2-2 as a pro kickboxer. Better striking stats and more active landing strikes than Yan is. She's outstruck her UFC opponents by 2.5 strikes a minute. Very good number. Minus 480. Gumby.
I gotta go with Weili Zhang. The problem with this one is the same thing with the problem with Max Holloway, right? When you're drawing up the paths to victory for Yan Xiaonan, what are they? Like all throughout her career, I've been saying, she's a volume puncher. She doesn't have tons of knockout power. And obviously she knocked out Jessica Andrade when Jessica Andrade was like wildly off balance, right? She overthrew or overextended herself in that fight and ate a pretty clean shot. When have you ever seen Weili Zhang overextend herself? When have you ever seen her off balance or out of place or like not where she is supposed to be? Because the one thing you can say about her, the 2 losses to Rose notwithstanding, she is always in the right spot. She is always balanced. She is always ready to throw that next strike. And it's not like she has any trouble matching volume either. So like, even if you want to go, okay, well, Yan Xiaonan, then maybe she out strikes her. She just gets in her face and throws a whole bunch. Like, think about the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight. Weili Zhang fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk's style of fight and beat her at it, which is insane to say, because like Joanna Jędrzejczyk had a crazy good striking game. So to see Weili Zhang see that and just obliterate it, I don't know how you can look at Yan Xiaonan and say even she has a 1 in 5 chance of winning this fight. I think this is Weili Zhang all day. I think she's going to absolutely put on a one-sided beating on her. And this is going to be one of those ones where you're reminded just how good Weili Zhang is.
Yep, agree with all that. And if she chose to grapple, she could grapple and finish fighting.
Yeah, that's a
huge advantage
point.
There.
Yep,
huge advantage on the ground. So yeah, Zhang is the better everywhere in this fight. So she is the pick. You know what else is the pick? AVO is the pick. One of our newer sponsors. AVO is how it's spelled. AVO is how it is pronounced. We're proud to partner up with them. They are the premier sports betting arbitrage tool. If you're new to arbitrage sports betting, it's very simple. Basically betting both sides of a bet at 2 different sports books to lock in a profit. The AVO tool scans the sports books looking for discrepancies in the odds and then tells you how much money you need to place with each sports book and the expected profit. Tool is super easy to use and lightning fast, as speed is a big part of arbitrage sports betting. Best part of AVO is it's currently free to use without restrictions. That's right, completely free. Get started today at arbsversusodds.com. I'll spell it out for you. Get ready. ARBSVSODDS.com. arbsversusodds.com is the place to go. Check it out. All right, main event time for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. 5-minute rounds. Alex Pereira, the champion, versus Jamahal Hill, the challenger. Mr. Hill, sweet dreams. 12-1 with 1 no contest. 7 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. 6-1 with 1 no contest in the UFC. The former champion of the world at this weight class. He's won 4 straight fights. However, he's not fought since January of 2023. He's been hanging out in the UFC Apex every week, though. He has not lost since June of 2021. 1-0 in Contender Series, was regional champion, 4 years younger than Pereira, more active landing strikes than Pereira. Here's a good number. Plus 3.96 is the strike differential. He hits his opponents 4 times more per minute than he gets hit. Plus 115. So a very close main event on paper, at least. Pereira, Poatan, which is
stone face.
Yes, I think so. I ask you and then I don't know the answer. Poatan means hands of stone. Hands of stone.
Oh, hands of stone. Okay.
Yes. He does have a stone face as well, though, which is that'll be an app name.
Seems more fitting, maybe.
Yep.
Maybe stone face is the next. Yeah. We'll change it.
We will change it. We move lines. We change nicknames. Pereira 11-2 with 7 knockouts. He has been knocked out once, submitted once. 6-1 in the UFC. Is the champion at light heavyweight currently. Used to be the champion at 185. He's won 2 straight fights, including his last fight via knockout, TKO. 33-7 in kickboxing, multiple championships there. Did you hear he beat Israel Adesanya in kickboxing, Gumby? Twice.
I heard it one time.
Yes. I'm telling you twice. He beat him twice there. Now you know again. He was 1-0 as a pro boxer, better grappling stats than Hill, which is surprising. He's outstruck his UFC opponents at 1.35 strikes per minute, minus 125. I love the line here. I'll take Pereira at such a low line. He's just way more dangerous, scarier fighter than Hill. Not to mention Hill has been injured for over a year now. So I do think Pereira is a scary dude on the feet, and this definitely will be a fight on the feet. So I will take his kickboxing over Jamahal Hill's any day.
So yeah, I went with a couple of injured guys coming off injury on the last show, but Hill supposedly was not cleared until February to begin training again, which is kind of alarming. And then in addition to that too, like to your point, this is going to be a striking match, and you can say what you want about the power of Jamahal Hill and how it's done good things, but like, is anybody out here telling me Jamahal Hill is a good technical striker? Because like, who's the most technical fighter? The most technical boxer, the most technically good kickboxer that this man has fought? Is it Johnny Walker? It might be
wild
Johnny
statement. That's a
dude,
wild
it might
statement.
be the best kickboxer he's fought might be Johnny Walker. And now you're going to put him in with like a world-class kickboxer. And I know we're not supposed to take everything away from game plans from interviews, but like he seems very convinced that he can box with him. And what about his past fights would lead him to believe otherwise? Like he's done it in every single one of his fights. I know he doesn't realize there is a difference in level of boxing from Glover Teixeira to Alex Pereira, but maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is he doesn't realize there's a difference between those two. I think he's going to see the difference here. The technical striking of Alex Pereira, he got caught one time against Israel Adesanya, but like, when has Pereira looked bad boxing anybody else? And Jamahal Hill, yeah, you're right. You could probably say the same thing of him. He didn't look bad boxing Jimmy Crute, but Jimmy Crute threw some of the most wild strikes I've seen since Todd Duffy in that fight. And I just, there's nothing that gives me confidence in Jamahal Hill here. Maybe if he was wrestling a little. Did you see the interview he did with Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson?
No, I try not to watch interviews, especially Jamahal Hill interviews.
Demetrius Johnson said something about how he saw the fight going, and he said something like, "Yeah, I see a knockout," and he was like, I meant your fight," and he was like, "Yeah, I think I can knock him out," and he was like, "Oh, you were serious?" Oh, like Demetrius Johnson was like fooled by his response, like he didn't think he realized the question, because it was so wild to him, because I mean, Jamahal Hill, is good at jiu-jitsu, by all accounts of what goes on in his gym, but, he doesn't seem interested in using it, and I think that that's a wild miscalculation.
Yep, and shout out to Todd Duffy in that breakdown Gummy just made.
Do you know the Todd Duffy strike I'm talking about?
No, maybe
he tried to windmill punch Frank Mir. And Frank Mir dropped him.
No one can do that but Trevor Peak. All right.
Yeah,
leave the fancy punches for Trevor Peak. All right. Recap, and then we'll get your fancy picks. Both have Pereira, both have Zhang, both have Gaethje, both have Tsarukyan, both have Nickal. There you go. A clean sweep for us. All right. Don't go away because we have locks, dogs, props, and parlays for you. I think I'm first up this week. I actually have prepared. I have it all filled out already. Who I'm picking?
Look at
Pereira,
you.
Yeah, I know. Pereira is my lock, as we just told you why.
Yeah, I had the same thing written down. I'm going with Pereira. I know we just outlined it. I can't believe this line is where it is. It's crazy, man.
That's why I'm taking it. The line is that's the best line I see on all the favorites that I'm picking here. So as for dogs, give me Jim Miller. He's a dog in every sense of the word. Give me him at plus 150 against Bobby Green. Check out yesterday's show to find out why.
I'm going to take Calvin Kattar as my dog. I'm a little bit worried about the step up for Aljamain Sterling to featherweight. I think Calvin Kattar's wrestling defense is far better than anybody remembers. I think he comes into this fight knowing that is there, and plus 143 sounds good to me.
All right. For my prop, I hinted at it yesterday. Davison Figueiredo knocking out Cody Garbrandt plus 200. That's a wild line for a guy who has a glass jaw. So I like that one.
I'm going to go bigger than you because it's UFC 300 and I got to go bigger. I got to go bigger. I'm going to take Diego Lopez and I'm going to take him by submission. Diego Lopez by submission here, which I think is how he gets this one done because Sadiq's pretty tough when it comes to getting hit. And we've seen Lopez in scrambles, looks fantastic. I could see him, tagging and bagging him. Plus 300 on the sub line for Diego Lopez. I hit a 450 last week in my prop of the week. Not quite as big. Yeah, not quite as big this week, but I am feeling good about myself. And it's a big week. UFC 300. Why not a prop at plus 300?
You will gladly take plus 300. You're not going to complain about that. So Pereira's both are locks. He has Kattar. I have Miller as the dogs. Lopez via submission, Figueiredo via knockout. All right, Hungerman Jong Superfan parlay, a 2-fight parlay. It's going to win you mucho money when it hits. Go ahead.
So I had one of these lined up originally where I was getting barely like 10-1. So I'm going to give you that one anyway. I had Figgy KO and I had Calvin Kattar decision. And that's just going to get you like 12-1 or something like that. And that's great.
That's not good enough.
That's great. So we'll call that the baby Jong, baby Jong parlay, the snacking Jong super fan parlay. But I figured for UFC 300, we might as well throw one of these out. That's let's get people excited about this one. Let's have a little bit of fun on this one. So the first one I'm going to put in there, I'm going to put Jim Miller, your dog of the week. I'm going to put him by knockout. Bobby Green's been knocked out in 3 of his last 5 fights. Jim Miller has picked up 3 knockouts somewhat recently. He seems he's got old man strength, and he's got a sub at UFC 200, a decision at UFC 100. How perfect would it be a KO at UFC 300?
Yep.
And we're getting it at 550.
All right.
Jim Miller KO 550. Now, I also talked on yesterday's show. Spoiler alert, go back and watch it. I also talked about how I like Holly Holm in this fight because I just don't know what Kayla Harrison is at 35. I think Holly Holm has a good chance of picking her apart in rounds 2 and 3, especially if she's tired. I think the clinch work of her holds up. I don't think she finishes her. I think that's a crazy thought to think that she would finish her. So instead, I'm going to take the Holly Holm decision line here. That's plus 600. So if you put the Holly Holm decision line along with the Jim Miller KO line, you're going to get plus 4450.
All right.
And we're going to get excited about something at UFC 300.
Yep.
Why not a 44.5-1 2-fight parlay?
So we're going to get excited about Holly Holm at UFC 300. That's what you're proposing?
No, but, hey, I'm just going to throw this out here. Jim Miller knocks out Bobby Green viciously in the second fight. And then all of a sudden, the entire Discord is on pins and needles, hoping for Kayla Harrison and Holly Holm to drag this fight out as boring as possible.
If that sounds good to you, get in the Discord and have fun with us in there. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We should definitely, I expect it to be as busy as ever on this coming Saturday. We'll be in there as well. We're in there every day, but we'll be in there as well with all the regional events coming up over the weekend that we have covered in past episodes. So get in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can catch us on Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's Gumby Vreeland. I'm Jeff Fox Writer on there. I'm Jeff Fox Writer on the Instagram as well. My Substack, get in there, check out my MMA writings, check out my pick'em contest, more importantly for you, so you can win stuff. It's moneymma.substack.com. Gummy's got Top Turtle MMA podcast this week. He's got Jim Miller on it, and he's got a champion, Raquel Rocky Pennington, and you can see that interview with Raquel Pennington on our YouTube channel, MMA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe there. Thank you for everyone who has already. Where else can you find us? All our writings and whatnot are at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. All our merch, so you look cool like us, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, and then sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon, so we can crush corporate gambling. Sunday, we'll probably do just a brief recap of UFC 300 because we have a bunch of big regional or non-UFC events next week to cover. We're going to cover PFL. We're going to cover Octagon. We're going to cover
Cage Warriors.
Right. Cage Warriors. So you got that to look forward to next week. Until then, Gumby will bid you farewell.
All right. I'm David Gumby Freeland. He's High IQ Jeff Fox. And we will see you on Sunday.